Are they aware of that rule to enforce it?
There should be better signage. Absolutely.
And can there be signage? I mean, has any been put up? I mean, the new signage is in Grand Central. Yeah. Was that included as part of the package? And how do they go back and put signage either in Penn or maybe it's at the bottom of the escalators, bottom of the elevators, okay, in each of the stations saying, because that's where somebody's going to bring a device from ground level to platform level.
Right. Well,
so maybe it's at the elevators as the key spot.
That's definitely something we want to bring up.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Any other old business? We'll go down to, all right, so we'll go down to new business. Any new business that any other council members want to bring forth?
Alrighty. Schedule.
What's that?
Aside from the schedule.
Well, aside from the schedule, the schedules are going to come up. All right, just as a precursor, because we know that once we open it up, schedules will probably be most of the questions asked. Well, again, it's not limited to schedules, but in the conversation we had earlier with Hector Garcia, we explained to him about the concerns. Right now, the railroad's position is that they are going to run the schedules that are posted. They will monitor them closely to see what the travel patterns are. Right now, they're anticipating 40% of the normal ridership that goes at the end to go to Grand Central Madison. And again, they'll monitor to see if that's exactly the case, or maybe it'll only be 30%, maybe it'll be 50%. We don't know, but again, they'll be monitoring it. They assure us that they can make some minor tweaks if necessary, but it's extremely doubtful that there'll be any major changes to the schedules. Again, they'll make some tweaks because unfortunately there are pinch points. We have 11 branches that go into the city. So if you change the schedule on one, it's a domino effect with other branches. So it's more than a couple of minutes either way. It's once you affect one, just like a snowball going downhill. So we got to be very careful about what's requested. But again, they said they will do whatever they can based on ridership patterns. And anything to add to that, Lisa?
They said that the new schedules further address pinch points and delays and help to reduce bunching. That at the future timetables that they may look at, the future changed times that they may look at could potentially be the fall, but the next schedule change is likely in the spring for the summer schedule. They also have the problem of a limited number of physical train cars. So adding service and changing things up is hard because of the physical limitations of the stop, of the rolling stop.
Exactly.
And if you change splits, you change the concept. Right? That's just what I wrote down also. So we are hearing a lot from a lot of different sources. I know I'm hearing it from my friends. I'm sure you are hearing it from yours. And I'm sure we'll hear it today from constituents. And there have been a number of articles that have been written. LIRR today has some, good piece about taking additional customer input into consideration. And hopefully this is the beginning of a new service that will have some growing pains and adjust and adapt.
Right.
But it's the first scheduled overhaul in 50 years. So,
I've been on the trains for almost 40 years now. And other than a few minutes here, a few minutes there, maybe one added train here, one deleted. For the most part, the schedules remain unchanged for the 40 years that I've been on the railroad. So it's a major change, and it's going to be an adjustment. And
do we have the status of the new train cars, where we're at on that, or that's going to be a hectic question?
It's more of a hectic question. It's still, they're trying to push it through. There's quality control issues.
Yeah.
They're building these things in Lincoln, Nebraska. So
I think that they've finally gotten over the hump of the personnel issues there and the quality control issues there, so that they can push them out and accept them. there were a lot of issues with accepting them, and there's, as you know, a very limited number of manufacturers.
Kawasaki.
Yeah, that's the big problem. You
Bombardier and Kawasaki.
yeah, you're kind of limited to where you can go. So kind of between a rock and a hard place, but they are pushing as hard as they can on that. Alrighty, I guess we can, unless we have any other things from the council members. Okay, so I guess we'll open it up to the public.
Can we, I know there was some chat comments coming through and we really can't see them. So can somebody read the chat comments before we open up to questions? Or maybe that's the order that we do open it up to questions.
Right, Carol, to that.
We'll be beginning. Signage, thank you. Signage at Grand Central Madison, related to the Lexa flushing line.
The signs in the subway are something that they're still working on too. That's been pointed out. And in fact, I was at Craig Cipriano's going away party and people were going up to him saying, look, they still don't have the signs fixed. And,
Yuki, that ADA elevator you're talking about, is that at Grand Central Madison?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
I think so. Yep. That from
the Apple Store to the main level and the Long Island Railroad mezzanine. So that would be from.
Oh, you wish there was. Yeah, maybe there will be. There's not a lot of connectivity there. There's escalator that goes down to the level that will take you from below the Apple Store. There's nothing that goes, I don't think, up to the Apple Store, but from the level below the Apple Store or the main level, you can take an escalator down or an elevator down to the LIRR levels.
right. And that was one of, when we were talking about wayfaring and navigation, that was an issue that was brought up. Apparently, it's not clear how to access the ADA elevator. So that's one of the things that they're working on for fixing.
I just saw your note. We explained earlier that he was not able to join us today. So we provided his report.
What is Hector's actual role?
He's the government person. That's why he can't be here today. He's the government liaison. So he's talking to some elected officials regarding Oyster debate today. And then he reports back to Kathy Rinaldi.
All right. Okay, we have a question regarding.
All right, Ron.
From Ron.
Ron, Troy, you had a question regarding diesel territory.
Yes. Hi. I'm using a phone, so it's a little weird. Mr. Lebo mentioned that everybody should have to pay more because of all the improvements. And I kind of get that, except for one thing. Out in diesel territory, we're not getting most of the improvements. We're not getting any reverse commute. We're not getting any new service whatsoever. We are getting, if we can figure out a way to make a connection, we might be able to get a train to or from Grand Central. But the pickings and the quote-unquote connections, especially if it's after 6 p.m., are going to be few and far between. So, obvious question, if we're in diesel country, does he still think that we're benefiting so much that we should have the same types of, whether it's payroll, tax, or fare increases that electric territory should get? I'm not trying to be nasty. I just think that diesel territory, we should have had electrification a long time ago. We should have had double tracking and much more of it a long time ago. The equipment we have was junk to begin with, and it's worn out. And if they do eventually buy new diesel equipment, are they going to continue to buy equipment that's too tall for Grand Central, like they did in the 90s?
I want to just jump in and answer your question. They can't bring diesel into Grand Central. That's not something that's permitted under fire code.
So we're talking about dual modes, and the reason.
So But that's a different question. So let me start with the electrification. So electrification was brought up by a number of elected officials from the North Shore at the budget hearing on Monday. And General did speak about it, and there was very specific questions about the Lawrence Aviation site, about the cost. And General did speak at some length about the study and the next capital program and the comparative evaluation that's going to happen. Those conversations will continue. There are new representatives who I'm sure will be having new interest in reviving those conversations. So I would stay tuned for that. The budget proposals that were put out there were put out by the governor. So, the MTA, and I'm not speaking for them, I'm repeating for them, has said that they're agnostic about how the money comes to them. So the proposals were from the governor. The proposed fare hikes are a different matter. That was the topic of question from almost everybody on Monday at the hearing. And, who knows what we'll see in the final budget. If there will be fare hikes or there will not be fare hikes. I think that that those are questions for the MTA CEO. But based on the responses and the questions that were received on Monday, and all of that should be taped and available on the State Assembly and Senate's websites, you could probably glean the answers to those questions.
A couple of other things, Ron. The railroad did do an analysis of the Port Jefferson branch, and electrification without double tracking really would do absolutely nothing for the branch at all. You'd need to double track.
Not quite. It would get you access to Grand Central.
But I mean, the cost-benefit ratio wouldn't be that great. To make it work, you really need to do double tracking. The budget for something like that was a couple of $2 billion. So it's coming up with that kind of money to make things happen. And regarding diesels going into Grand Central, if I'm still here when they're ready for the next diesel procurement, I'll certainly fight to be sure that the next diesels are able to go in. You got to remember the diesels that we have now, the dual modes that we have now, these went into service as early as 1999, 2000. By 2001, I think they were all online. So this was when Grand Central was just a working idea. When they purchased.
But you're missing something. Back in the mid-90s, when a group of people involved in what they then called Long Island Railroad Citizens Committee or Commission or something, Advisory Commission, the Long Island Railroad officials were present that day, and we were actually standing inside the tunnel under 63rd Street, under the river, told me that they were going to order equipment, that the equipment that came into use in the late 90s, this was the mid-90s, they were ordering equipment that was approximately 3 inches too tall to fit the 63rd Street tunnel. And you can imagine, you know me well enough, that I was not pleased to hear that. It didn't make sense. And as the other part of it, yes, we need double tracking, but electrification would mean a major change in the way things work. It would allow a train from the Port Jeff branch to go into Grand Central. And that is something that you try to look at dollars and cents, it may not be as obvious, but it would make a huge difference. There are a lot of people, I think.
All right, Ron.
Yes?
No, we understand what you're saying. We just have a lot of people that question, so we want to all righty. But to your point, though, I've been here for 21 years, and that was before my time. And all the railroad people who might have been participating in that meeting, they're all gone. So we're looking at a whole new crew. So, all righty, let's go downstairs. All right. Carrie, you have a question? Is Carrie out there?
Hi, good morning. Hi, good afternoon, rather. So, I'm a West Hempstead Branch commuter, and I'm speaking today as somebody whose 45-minute commute this morning took about 2 hours due to switch problems. So, one of the things I noticed in the proposed schedule is that there's a line now that says connecting trains may not wait, and I was told by one of the conductors that they're no longer having connecting trains, and it's going to be called transfer opportunities. So for commuters like us on the West Hempstead branch, we always have to transfer trains. So now I'm left wondering if the connecting trains are not going to wait, because I have trains that are consistently late coming into Jamaica. And I'm talking, I commute 5 days a week. 3 out of the 5 days, I'm in 1, 2, 3 minutes late. How is this going to work if the connecting train's not going to be held anymore?
That's an excellent question. We'll have to work on that sector.
That for during rush hours,
Yeah.
that they have some direct connects, I believe. But again, we'll run that question. But if you have another good way, Garrett, you can put our email address in the chat. We'll put our email address in the chat too, and any of these specific questions, you send them to us, then we'll also get them, and we'll have them all answered too.
This isn't specific to West Hempstead branch commuters. This is specific to anybody who has to change at Jamaica. That the connecting trains aren't going to be held. It's ridiculous.
Then they're basically just running trains. If you're going into Penn or Grand Central, if it's on your way out and there are fewer trains going to West Hempstead, then that's a different situation.
Yeah. And there is some discretion. If your connecting train is only 2 minutes or 3 minutes behind, they will probably, I would anticipate, they would still hold it. If the connecting train is 7 or 8 minutes behind, then they might let the train go, and then you'd have to catch the next available train to where you're going. But again, that's a question that we will bring up to, and we haven't been informed that that's the direct policy just yet. All right. Let's see who else got questions. We have time. We'll go back. Yuki. Okay.
Question that's our email address, mail@pcac.org.
That's Jay, so.
All right. Jay.
There's a line of people with their hands up and the participant.
Yeah, we're gonna go to them now. We're just trying to go through the.
Alrighty. Good evening. One thing I'm really fed up with is that if you look at the... I'm sorry, was that me?
Yeah.
Yes, Jay.
All right, great, thank you. So what I'm really fed up with is that if you look at the Ronkonkoma Branch timetables, the last train, the peak PM train to Greenport of the day, right now it leaves Penn Station at 5:41, the train that connects to it. But under the proposed, well, it's not proposed anymore, under the new timetables, that connection that connects to the Greenport train will leave at 5:04 p.m. That's the last train of the day, and that's 37 minutes earlier than it does now. This is not good. This is unacceptably early, considering many people get out of work at 5 o'clock. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make this train, and ultimately, this train is going to be rendered useless. One solution that I've proposed, and I brought this up, and keeping in mind that I warned the MTA of this several months ago at one of the railroad committee meetings, what I'm proposing, that train that leaves Ronkonkoma and goes to Greenport and all the intermediate stops needs to be shifted back. What I'm saying, that train leaves at 6:24 p.m. from Ronkonkoma. What I'm proposing, they need to shift that train to 7:03. That's when it departs right now. because ultimately none of this is going to affect the westbound train going back. I'm from Passengers United, by the way. I'm the vice president. And I don't understand. There needs to be some explanation as to why they chose to move this train forward if this is ultimately just going to inconvenience so many people who rely on the branch, including myself.
Again, that might have to do with traffic patterns, whatever, but we will ask the question. And again, we did put our email address up in the chat, so if you have specific questions that you want us to go to the railroad and try and get answers for, please email us at that address, and staff will work on trying to get you some answers.
Yeah. I see that it's 454 from Grand Central.
Well, 454 from Grand Central, but 504 from Penn Station.
Right, it's not like it's later though, is what I'm saying, so that
Yeah.
you can't like cross and.
Well, right now the last train is at 541. What they should do is have the 539 from Grand Central be the connecting train, because if they're shifting the last train of the day, keep in mind if you missed that train that you would have gotten previously, you're stranded in New York.
Right.
And keep in mind one more thing, that there are no signals on the Greenport branch. They can very easily move that train back to 703. There's nothing else on the branch. The westbound train leaves. There's ample time for the layover at Greenport. So it's not like this is going to affect any other train.
All right.
All we can do is ask these questions, and we'll do that.
All right, but again, please follow up, with an email, so we have something in writing that we can forward. Jason, you have something? Jason Anthony?
Yes, Jerry. I'm very concerned that every other branches are going to lose direct service on the Atlantic branch, except for West Hempstead. Because I was looking at the schedule after the 27th, and it looks like the West Hempstead branch is going to have direct service to and from Atlanta Terminal, Brooklyn. But I was answering to Carrie the possible scenario to what if there's an issue near Penn Station or near the Howell interlocking. They will have to divert trains to Atlanta Terminal, Brooklyn. Because the reality is that Atlanta Terminal, Brooklyn, as we speak, is underutilized. And this is why Atlanta Terminal, Brooklyn should be a more utilized transit hub, because it connects to the 2 to 3 to the west side of Manhattan, and the 4 to 5 to the east side of Manhattan, and to the Bronx as well. So we should rethink this as of the worst case scenario of what happens if something happens near the East River tunnels or at Harold. So we should bring this up to Hector, because I was thinking this up during the draft schedule proposals about this, because
the whole Atlantic terminal shuttle has been something that has raised flags in this council since I've been here, since the construction.
Because, for example, Lisa and Jerry, what if I want to go to Valley Stream? Under the shuttle, I will have to change at Jamaica to go to utilize either the Long Beach branch or the Far Rockaway branch, because I cannot utilize the West Hampton branch because it doesn't stop at Valley Stream.
Jason, can you send that in? If that's a specific question, can you send that in an email, please?
Sure. And by the way, I testified yesterday at the New Jersey Transit board meeting regarding issues at Penn Station And this very morning, I testified at the Port Authority board meeting along with Chris and Deborah regarding issues at Jamaica regarding the elevators. So they could tell you more further regarding that. So I use the rest of my time.
Charles, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I had my hand up and I wanted to make a point. Can all of you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So what I want to know is, we're being told by the railroad that there's not enough diesel equipment to provide service to the East End stations whether in diesel territory. What I want to know is why, and why is it that the PCAC throughout the years and the members did not call for more diesel equipment to be bought for the Long Island Railroad? Because now there's not enough diesel equipment. To me, this is a no-brainer. They had put in the third track, millions was spent on that, millions was spent on, redoing everything. And now the people on the East End who are paying $400, $500 a month cannot enjoy it. So everyone's asking for congestion pricing and all these things, but they're being inconvenienced. But on the record, I want to state something on the record. So several people have told me they did not get emails from the PCAC. Yeah, but Lisa, I have to bring this up for the record, Lisa. So several people have told me that they tried to sign up for today's PCAC meeting. People are not getting emails. I've been submitting emails. I wasn't on the email list. I had to call Jessica, and Jessica had to send me the link. But it's not fair to people. And I feel like if this is the PCAC, it's supposed to be open to the public. Why is it like everything is so secretive? I don't think that's right, guys. I'm sorry.
On the website.
It's posted on the website.
It's not on the website. Several people have told me. I even checked. It's not on the website. And this has been an ongoing complaint by PCAC, by people even in the PCAC, where meetings have been held a day earlier. And then when you went to the meeting, we were told this happened in the summer, in August.
The building that we're meeting in today, anybody who wanted to attend in person had to RSVP a couple days in advance. And that went out in the notice.
Right, but there was no RSVP link on your website. And it's still not posted up there because my colleagues just checked it and it's still not up there.
It is. If you refresh your screen or clear your cache, you'll see that it is under the calendar.
Right.
I'm on now. The Zoom website is there, and all the information is on there with the agenda. And it says where we're meeting also, and to click on the email if you want to RSVP.
So all I'm going to say to members who are watching the Zoom stream, depend on Passengers United, because we're seeing everything that's going on and communities are being discriminated against, and it's obvious what's going on, guys. So I think I've said enough. People are frustrated and outraged, and you know what? Go call your elected officials, guys, and ask them, why is it that the PCAC even exists? What is the purpose of it? I'm done, guys. I'm done with this nonsense. The discrimination has to end. And I'm sorry that I had to bring this up, but this has been an ongoing issue for years now.
All right, let me just say one thing. There's no discrimination, okay? I resent that remark. There is no discrimination. We treat everybody the same. If you want to agree to disagree, that's your privilege.
And the information is posted out to the public, so anyone has access to be able to join or come in person or virtual. So no one's left out.
All right. Do we have anybody else that has a question? Can you check, see if we have any other hands up or anything? Christopher. Okay, Chris, there we go.
Me, the favorite one of all. First of all, good evening. First, I'm going to use my peace and love moment for a second. Third, I just want to answer one thing. The Grand Central Madison, I want to make very clear that I've been at the tour. I have looked at areas that need signages and large ones. Carmel Q has asked everyone, if you see their signs should be somewhere between bathrooms or access, please put that into accessibility at nyct.com. So therefore, any comments comes in there, we need to know this as well. Also, right now, Jerry, just to let you guys know that when we did the tour at Grand Central Madison, we did test the platform. It is so even that good thing my other friend Jean Ryan is not with us, because she might flew right to the train and almost hit the other train door. So I just want everyone to know it's so even, so easy to get access there as well. But we did have the Long Island Railroad 88 Task Force / Metro North, and Jerry, I want to thank you for mentioning those stations, because the community is very pleased, and they want me to tell you, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Long Island Railroad Community Council, because they've been advocating for this for a long time. And everyone, we thank them, because it's a team effort. We have to work as a team with all the railroads. And Devon has one thing he wants to add in, and a peaceful moment.
Yes. Good evening, Jerry. Good to see everybody. First of all, I did what Jason said, correct. I did testify today. For Tuesday, we both testified about the issues with the elevators at Jamaica, because the elevators are not run or owned by the Long Island Railroad. They are run by the Port Authority. So we spoke to them directly, because as I told them, I was on the elevator where I was supposed to connect to my train. The train waited for us, but it took us 5 minutes to get down because it went practically died. I appreciated also they listened to what I said about also that I need the elevators for certain tracks to be fixed, because I don't feel like in other paying passengers, we don't want to have to use the freight elevators, because we pay to use the regular elevators. And they did say to me, they are going to investigate, and they apologized profusely. And I was very pleased with how they heard and didn't get upset because I brought this up. Also, I want you to know that I was able to find your notices, and I'm the one who has issues on the computer or the phones or everything with the internet. So I usually have to find Christopher to help me. But guess what? I was able to find it by myself, so I don't understand. I had no problem getting on.
And we thank you.
And we thank you for making everything truly accessible for persons like myself, because I am getting vision issues also.
And
thank
for
you.
Seniors and people with disabilities.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate the comments. Pearl, you have a question regarding Woodhaven?
Yes. I just posted the link regarding that Larry Penner posted an op-ed in 2020. He also I also saw it recently in the Queens Ledger newspaper about a week ago, and it's basically the same type of information about reopening the Woodhaven Junction lower level station on the Atlantic branch. If the PCAC LIRR could support reopening that station now that the third track is finished and Grand Central is done. So the link is there to the article. Larry Penner, there's a good description of the reasons and the information on that station at 100th Street and Atlantic Avenue. And it's on the border of Woodhaven, Ozone Park, and Queens. And you don't need to, that's the lower level. And
Hello, Carl. Thanks.
All right, Carl.
thank you. Bye. All right.
You scroll down, see if we have anybody else got their hand up. I'm sure everybody has a question. Yes.
We'll have to move the chat window. We'll receive it. Somebody.
If they have a hand over again. Either in Zoom or to
just put a quick question in the chat.
Put a question in the chat, and we could have you unmute yourself. All right. I think that's it.
All right. Going once, going twice.
Our next meeting is PCAC meeting. March 2nd.
Sorry about to interrupt you.
Oh, James.
James, okay.
How you guys doing today?
All right, what's your question, James?
No, me. I'm just an out of town wrestling thing. Where was that?
So, one question about the
couple weeks ago. Yeah, sure. I'm going to Montreal.
The new line about
the background, so we can't hear you.
the Jamaica station, like a central.
Can you put your question in the chat?
Yeah.
We're having a very difficult time hearing you over the other noise.
I am going to give it to you one more time, but sorry. Sorry about that. You can still hear me?
Yeah, what's your question, sir?
Look, about the new line from a Jamaica Center, Jamaica to the Grand Central. Like, I would want to know is, like, is it the new line running around weekdays, like, but not on weekends?
It runs on weekends also.
Runs on weekends as well.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah.
All right.
That's my question.
All right, Jack, you have a question? Jack, do you have another question?
Yeah, two more things. I wanted to bring up that I'm now looking at the website and I am finding the Zoom link on there, which was not there when it probably should have been there. But secondly, when it comes to the going back to the timetables, one thing that we are seeing is the disparity between lines such as the Babylon branch that's getting at least 3 trains per hour, but then we have all of these other lines, including Long Beach, Hempstead, Far Rockaway, West Hempstead as well, and including many mainline stations. They're not seeing the improvements that were expected from this opening of Grand Central and the what they're saying is a 40% increase in service. So if there's any explanation for that, that would be fantastic.
You don't have one right here. That has to come from that person.
Right.
Okay, anything else? Anybody?
So our next meeting is a PCAC meeting, which will be on March 2nd.
Thursday, March 2nd, yeah.
Thursday, March 2nd.
12 noon.
12 noon, we will identify locations and Zoom links.
Will be posted on the website.
Which will be posted on the website, along with the agenda.
Alrighty.
Motion to adjourn?
Larry makes motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All right, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Take care. Good night.
What a fucking mess.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to date with Passengers United, please subscribe and follow us on social media. Learn more about us at passengersunited.org.